Studies on children living with disabilities in the northwest and central regions of the country reveal that the situation is still deplorable.
Services for people living with disabilities are very limited. They are excluded from the mainstream action, the mainstream services that are offered, whether it be education, it be health, or it just be ordinary celebrations that people have in social life. People with disabilities are always found at the background.
The research findings presented this February 17 in Yaoundé by the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services and the Ministry of Social Affairs, experts reiterate the need to respect the rights of the disabled children through inclusive education, for they have a great role to play in every society.
When children living with disabilities are not educated, we stand to lose a lot, because when I say we, I mean the society, our Cameroonian society. We stand to miss out on so many things, economically speaking, socially speaking, and of course, politically speaking.
The need for the government to multiply efforts of making available more inclusive schools for the vulnerable children, especially in remote areas.
Most of these disabled children who don't go to school are in the suburbs. We have these inclusive schools, we don't have them in the hinterlands, and this makes it more precarious for children living with disabilities in the hinterlands. So government is doing it. It may not be enough now, but we are gradually moving towards it. If we have 69 schools this far, 69 inclusive schools, it means in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll cover the entire territory.
The one-day workshop was equally an occasion to consolidate results, underlining the challenges and recommendations to fast-track the process of education for all.
Tree is Life, a slogan that has inspired the Friends of Trees Club and the entire Government Technical College Bafia to carry out a tree planting exercise on campus. More than 70 trees have been planted so far. It is not a coincidence that we choose this area to plant these trees. We are in Bafia, which is a savanna and needs restoration. The tree planting exercise, supported by forestry officials and the divisional officer for Bafia, falls within the Operation Green and Clean School. The principal and members of the club have elaborated a plan of action to monitor the effective growth of the trees. We would work with the right experts to ensure that the trees are well taken care of so that they grow up properly. As we all know, the sun is very harsh, and if we do not water the plants regularly, the trees will die. We will be watering the plants all the time. The operation seeks to fight against desertification and the changing climate. Desert-like conditions have been advancing, and today we are all living witnesses of the effects of climate change. This exercise will go a long way to address these issues. The town of Bafia envisages to plant a total of 22,000 trees as their own contribution to stem back the advancing desert.
They were all gathered this 17th February 2022 at the regional delegation of health in Littoral in the economic capital city of Cameroon. Members of the task force communication brought together to analyze figures of vaccinated population for Littoral region throughout the year 2021.
For concerning the Littoral region, we are not far as 100% that has been completely vaccinated. But the main observation is that people they receive the vaccination only during, not only, mostly during the mass campaign.
The number of vaccinated persons was very low, partly due to misinformation and vaccination apathy, despite the fact that numerous vaccination centers were created in Littoral.
Completely vaccinated, about 60,000. So giving us a total coverage about 2.7%, which is really below expectation. We have rumors on social media. You have people propagate different kinds of information against the vaccine.
During this meeting between these task force communication members and the press, They listed out strategies which shall heighten vaccination campaign of this year 2022, which kicks off on 19th of March.
The history and protection of gorillas is the main content of this novel entitled History of Gorillas by Miroslav Bobek and Teresa Sevnova, a book launched this February 17th in Yaoundé, aimed at sensitizing people on lives of gorillas and the importance of protecting the endangered species.
En fait, le but principal de cet ouvrage, c'est de montrer...
The main objective of this novel is to show the readers the life of gorillas, who are wonderful animals. They are just like humans, and it's very important to protect them in their society.
C'est très important, c'est vraiment pertinent de les protéger dans leur habitat naturel.
It is a novel translated into the Badjoue language to ease its understanding in the local community.
C'est très important, un ouvrage comme celui-ci.
This, in the local language, is very important. There is always a way of going into our culture for its conservation. By reading this novel, youths, elders, or even our parents, we believe that the protection of this animal will be effective. The Badjoue language is spoken by the Badjoue population in the eastern part of Cameroon.
Want to Live is written against the backdrop that life is rife with challenges and problems, the heavy loads difficult for many to overcome or survive. The inspiration born from observations of persons and happenings around the writer.
I started thinking maybe it's time to give them a tool that they can go through and start asking the right questions, because asking yourself a question does not mean you're asking the right questions. Sometimes you're asking yourself, what am I going to do? But it's not about what you're going to do, it's what you actually must do. For instance, a little thing can change.
In 169 pages, the author, editor, and publisher, Regine Fomo, stirs up practical faith in her readers.
Whatever adversity is there is actually can actually be an opportunity for you to succeed. So I believe that success is inside of us. So the book is actually to provoke people into thinking, go deeper in their own self-examination.
Her main message is that success is within each and every one of us. She gives directives on how to overcome obstacles and develop strong mindset to live a victorious life.
Position yourself for success. Stop complaining. Stop looking at the negativity around you. Stop pointing your fingers at people or events or whatever is happening in the world.
All 8 chapters of the book by Rema Publication in London centers around biblical quotations and how God's people accomplish many things. Want to Live is all about being willing, available, and ready to face life in a positive manner. This publication is part of our numerous write-ups and translations.